Hi, I wanted to show you a different way of doing the bottom of a bowl. This is a little kind of individual casserole dish. I did a set of them a while ago, and I wrapped the bottom around. And I thought that might be something as an option you might want to try. So trying to be things I need, I decided to make a dish for cranberry sauce. So even though this is pumpkin, this is what I measured for about the right size. It is about 3 inches in diameter and about 4 inches, 4.5 inches tall. Remember, clay shrinks in general terms 10%. So I think I want this plate to be 4 inches wide, and I believe I said 7 inches. Let's see what I said. Yeah, 7 inches long, so the cranberry slices can spread out. So I did a slab that's larger than that. I left 3/4 of an inch on each side, took my square and marked 4 by 7. So this is going to be where the wall of the plate is. And I'm making something not quite this high. It's going to be a very short wall, but I did want to have a wall. You know, cranberry juice can go all over the table. So I'm going to scratch and slip along these lines. Now, the one thing I don't want real square corners. So I'm going to probably round those a little bit. That's really how I want my plate to look. So I'm going to take a slab of clay, which is fresh clay. Seems to be sticking a little bit. There we go. It's not leather hard, and I want it to go around those corners. If it were leather hard, I might be really concerned about the corners, but I think being soft, it'll fit just fine without causing a problem. If I wanted to shape it over a circle, you know, a shape, I could keep it like this for a little bit. That would help it to bend. And then maybe go with progressively smaller circles. And if I needed to, even wet the outside here where the bend is going to be the most stress on the clay. Okay, so I have already scratched but not slipped this on one side. That dowel is going to be just about the corner I want, and it looks like it fits swell. So I'm going to go ahead and scratch and go ahead and slip these to go ahead and put it together. So the bottom is sticking out well outside of the bowl plate at this point. I don't have a strip long enough to go all the way around. I'm going to have to join it, but that's not a problem. Okay. So here I go with putting some slip on this. These are about the same wetness, so it's not terribly important that the scratching and slipping be thick or particularly deep. So I'm going to place that one around the corner. Place this along the side. Use my dowel and gently coax that clay into a corner. Okay, do it on this corner. It's looking good. Now I'll take another just a piece that will fit from here to here. So the joining, of course, is going to be at a 45-degree angle from this way. The way I usually think of it is the long side's on the outside. So on this piece, the long side is going to be on the inside so that those 45-degree angles will fit together. You see that? So a little bit of scratching in there. A little bit of slip. Go ahead and get some slip on the bottom of this new wall. Press it together nice. And now coax that one around the corner. This one I can see is just a little bit in. And then go ahead and do this seam as well. Cutting at a 45-degree angle on that one, long on the outside. So this one will be long on the inside of the pot. Oh, whoops. Okay. You always have to think about where those 45-degree angles are. And of course, better to measure twice and cut once. A little bit more slip here and here. And now I've got a very short walled pot. I'm gonna press these together, make sure they're real tight. Make sure I've got somewhat of a oblong shape. And also, if I'm concerned about these walls going straight up, something like a piece of wood is always good to just put along there and make sure they're going straight up at a 90-degree angle rather than leaning in or out. So that's an easy way to check that. Now, the inside of this is not very strong and not very food safe. So what I'm going to do is put a little clay in there. Usually a coil, a small coil will work. Put it along in there. But what I like to do is take the clay that comes off of when you do the beveling. So I'm going to take the same piece and I just beveled. And what I've got is a long side and the two 45-degree angle sides. I'm not going to worry about slipping those. I'm sorry about scratching those, but I am going to slip those. So I'm going to put slip on that underneath side, if you will, the two short sides of the triangular piece. And I'm going to get it nice and wet, because I want this to fit down into that corner. So I've already got slip in here. I don't need to worry about adding more. So I'm just going to place this right in that corner of where the inside and the bottom, the top, the wall and the bottom of the pot meet. I'm going to take another piece of beveling. I had a fairly long piece of here left over, so again, I'm going to take the two short sides, apply a lot of slip, and place it in that corner where they meet. So I'll start where I left off, place it gently. And I'm short only about 2 inches. So I'll do a little bit more beveling. Don't really want them to overlap, but it's not the end of the world if they do. So I'm going to cut that one off, place it there. And cut that so I can take that piece out. So what I've got now is some clay that's going to go into those corners and make it nice and smooth. I like to put on some more slip just to make sure that that added clay is going to be nice and soft when I try to smooth it. So I'm going to put on some slip and let it get soft. Not going to work with it for a few minutes here. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom and how it curls up on the outside wall. This bottom can be freeform cut, just however you want it, or you can make a particular pattern. I'm just going to freeform it. And just kind of get in the rhythm or something that you like. Okay. Doesn't have to be anything that is a particular design. But you can start to bend the bottom up. Takes a couple times around. And you noticed I did put slip on there. Again, I want that clay to be fairly wet. For it to bend around the curve that I'm making it bend around here on the bottom. So this, you would not want to start out with leather hard clay. It's not going to bend very well by the definition of leather hard clay. I went right up to the edge here. Not a problem. Okay, down here, where I've already started to bend it up, I'm going to go ahead and bend it some more. Just a little piece at a time. And I can do it as sharp or as rounded as I want. I can smooth these edges or leave them rough. Of course, I like to smooth them. So there is an undulating. Okay, you notice now when you can actually squeeze them together, the slip comes oozing out and you know that they are touching. And you don't need to press harder on those areas. So the only thing here is how much fun you want to have making these smooth or leaving them, you know, just pressing the clay. You can make it smoother and less of an edge there. you still have an edge, and you can highlight it by not glazing it. So that's why this shows up so well. Okay, so now back to the inside. If I had this all the way around, I would go back to the inside, and it's smoothing up over the corner of the bottom. I might need to straighten this line again because I want that perpendicular. So here's the one that I was working on, and yes, it got less than perpendicular. I'm just going to try and push it back. And now I've got that clay in the corner, which in this case, the bowl is open enough, the plate's open enough, that I can smooth it with my fingers. Just, okay. Sometimes you can't get your finger in there, and you'll need to take a tool. Could be a blunt tool that you start with, just to press that clay, get rid of any excess clay in there. You know that it's now wet enough that it's very malleable. And another good tool is the end of a pencil. That gives a nice, the eraser gives a nice rounded edge. You can always go in with a scraper or your knife, take out extra clay that's gone up on the wall. Go back with a nice smooth. Okay, and then I always like to finish it with either a sponge or a paintbrush. If you can get your sponge in there, that's great. You might have a small enough space that you can't really get a sponge in there, and you would need to smooth it out with a paintbrush on a smaller bowl. So now you've got particularly this inside corner. Nice and smooth. That corner right here. I'm going to take that out when we smooth that. But this is food safe and pleasant to have in a food environment, that corner. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way around. Just let you know, you can press on these, you can just barely turn them up like I have. There's a little, I might want to make that more rounded on that corner. But basically, if I kind of clean it up with a paintbrush, that's similar to what I had there. If I wanted to highlight it, or I was planning on putting glaze down to it, then I might want to make a glaze line. So this is just going to help me when I get to glazing. Okay, so I think this is basically a whole different way of doing the bottom by wrapping it around. Thank you.